Hi. Do you know that through all our lives, music has set the mood? Music has made us dance, sing, bring joy to our lives. Through all the artists and years gone by, the things that music has done for us. So I figured I was going to do a video on music and some of my favorites and some of my greatest hits that I've liked through the years. I made a list here. I've got some of the music that I've enjoyed all the way back, like from the 50s up till, you could say, today. Music, whether it's been, we could say on cassette, way back when all you had was a cassette player, and it would pop in a cassette while you were driving, maybe on the beach, Sunset Boulevard, who knows? I know that was one of my favorite activities as a pastime to relax, was to drive onto the beach, park there, and enjoy some tunes. Some great times, I'm telling you, yes. And, well, of course, growing up, it was, listening to records. Listen to records. This one is Greatest Hits of Dion. I think I've mentioned before when I used to have my little record player and I would listen to those famous hits back then on the record player. But back then, when you didn't have a lot of money, you couldn't afford to go out and buy all the music you wanted. So you would get an album every once in a while. And like today, if it happened to be one of the top 10 hits, back then, and you could get the album or the, get the 78, you would play that on your record player over and over again, besides the radio, of course. Then, when the CDs came out, and you would record, well, you would actually buy the CDs, and then later on, when you could, we would be able to start recording. So I've had quite a collection through the years of my my CDs that I'd like to be able to copy onto them. But a lot too. Again, you would go out and buy the popular ones. Yeah, when they came out. And of course, growing up, I started, well, actually it's my parents that got me into, the 50s music. Because when I was born in the 60s, see, I was listening to 50s music and 60s music. And here I got some here of the 1950s. The birth of rock and roll. Yes. Birth of rock and roll. You would listen to certain tunes like, Johnny Be Good by Chuck Berry. That was in 1958. Then you had a Jailhouse Rock by none other than Elvis Presley. That was in 57. You had What I Say by Ray Charles. That was in 59. And who doesn't remember Rock Around the Clock by Bill Haley and his Comets in 54. You had also Mark the Knife by Bobby Darin in 1959. You had, Hey Jude by the Beatles, 1968. I wonder here if the other ones came out. Like I was mentioning here, like with Elvis. But he made a lot of songs and movies. And I grew up adoring his stuff, his music and songs and movies and stuff. And so many of them, like Return to Sender, Address Unknown, I don't exactly remember like the years, but like Teddy Bear, so many of his songs. And here also, later on, as we go through, I Can't Get No Satisfaction by the Rolling Stones. That was in 65. I know I'm going generally through the list, but there's a lot of other songs in the 50s. Like here, like I was saying, you got the Dion by Chuck Baldwin. Love Came to Me, The Wanderer, Teenager in Love, Lonely Teenager, Little Diane, great hits, and Runaround Sue. There's the other ones, not really, but they're the basic ones that I listen to. Yeah. And then going through the list, and then here I was at the Rolling Stones, or Like a Rolling Stone by Bob Dylan. That was also in 65. Good Vibrations by the Beach Boys. Good Vibrations. That was in 66. Then, well, of course, you had in the 70s the disco era. Rock and punk. And, because in the types of music, I like basically all kinds of music. Mostly rock and roll. But I do like, dance music. I like, there's country music, western. You have alternative music, You have soft music. You have electronic music, which I like a lot. I'm not into jazz or classical, really. Once in a while. But modern jazz, I like that. Yeah, Hotel California. Oh, I listened to that so many times. By the Eagles in 76. Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin. That was in 71. Imagine by John Lennon. 71. These songs, growing up, made you imagine. It made you want to get out in the world and see everything, Especially in the 70s. I was still too young back then, but I was just starting, to appreciate and absorb the lyrics and the melody. Staying Alive by the Bee Gees, 77. Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen. Queen and his songs, Freddie Mercury. And the way that music would pierce you, enter you, it was fascinating, Such good music. You had also here, and the pop era, of course, now if we hit the 80s, now I was really starting to get into music then, listening more and more, especially Billie Jean, Michael Jackson, of course, in 1982. When I first heard his music, I fell in love. It was so energizing and entertaining. Purple Rain by Prince in 84. Of course, girls just want to have fun. Of course they do. By Cyndi Lauper in 83. Sweet Child O' Mine by Guns N' Roses. That was in 87. I Wanna Dance with Somebody by Whitney Houston in 87. of course, there was so many other famous hits, like also coming up when I would listen also to ABBA, like Dancing Queen, and, I would listen to all their hits, especially coming like in the 80s. There was such a vast variety of music, and so much music that you really could dance your pants off, I'm telling you. Because besides the 50s, with the rock and roll, growing up and doing the twist and all those dances, when the dance music came out and pop, wow. You build up a sweat, I'm telling you. Here we got the 90s. Smells Like Teen Spirit, Nirvana, 91. Wonderwall by Oasis, that was in 95. I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston in 92. Juicy, The Notorious B.I.G. in 94. Baby One More Time, of course, Britney Spears in 99. Also when her tunes came out, wow, like when I was listening to Madonna, and Material Girl, her songs were like, wow, way up there too. Then, coming into the 2000s, you had famous songs like Hey Yeah by Outkast in 2003, Crazy by Gnarls Barkley in 2006, Rihanna, The Umbrella by Rihanna, featuring Jay-Z, was in 2007. Lose Yourself by Eminem, 2007. Toxic by Britney Spears in 2003. I know I'm not really forgetting a lot of them, but there's too many of my favorites that I can't say all of them. Like even this, when this came out, Flashdance, a lot of the songs were like mellow, especially on that album, Flashdance. I got into it sort of, but I still was into the rock and roll and more pop, of course. And then after that, you had Adele, you had Uptown Funk by Mark Ronson featuring Bruno Mars in 2014, and Bad Guy by Billie Eilish, 2019. Shape of You by Ed Sheeran, 2017. Old Town Road, Lil Nas X, 2019. Then, getting up towards more like till today, you had like Blinding Lights by The Weeknd. This is in 2020. Driver's License by Olivia Rodrigo. 2021, Anti-Hero, Taylor Swift, of course. Taylor Swift, yes, definitely. 2022. And then I've got down Miley Cyrus with her tune, Flowers. These are general songs, like I said, that I listen to a lot. But there's so many other ones. Like there's shuffle music, shuffle dance music. You have the dance electronic music, like I said. Especially like the lambada, or, when I'm in a dancing mood. Lucenzo, like music, Latino music or Spanish music. I'll listen to that when I want to dance, And other music, like I said, the rock and roll, of course. Definitely. I'll listen to that music. Basically, that's the list of music that I enjoy the most. And I do occasionally put on some just nature music, relaxing, water, outdoor, ambiance with the nature sounds and, birds and stuff. Or even a nice nature music with, a nice light rain with a thunderstorm or something, Even better is when you have soft music with nature incorporated in it. It's something that's really relaxing. I've tried recently mixing some different types of music, wondering if I could use it maybe in my videos or something. I don't know. It's a test I'm doing. Sometimes, if you've noticed, in my videos I've been practicing. You could hear some music, but like in the background. But if you notice, sometimes it's mixed, You could find that in some of my videos. But anyways, like I was saying now, whether you're listening to music on the radio, whether you're listening to music through your Bluetooth speaker, whether it be on your phone or at home on your home theater system or sound system, don't forget to absorb the sound. Let it penetrate your soul and give you the joy and positivity that your body needs so badly every day. So that's it for my video. Just a little something about music. Seeing we've done, I've talked about movies and TV shows and games. Well, why not music? So, take care. Love you. And be catching you on our next adventure. Bye for now. Bye. Music.